I wish that I could have knocked him out at the start. Jake has spirit. He has some heart. He tried his best, and I take my hat off to him because, number one, a lot of fighters haven't got in the ring with me, and Jake did. And secondly, even when he got knocked down, he kept on trying to get up.
I'm retiring from boxing. I'm getting hit in the fucking face every single.
Anthony Joshua did not mock or dismiss Jake Paul after the shocking announcement. Instead, he showed respect. After Jake Paul revealed he is stepping away from boxing following a knockout that resulted in a broken jaw, Joshua was asked for his reaction. The former heavyweight champion responded in a calm and supportive way. AJ praised Jake's courage, saying it takes real heart to step into the ring, especially for someone who did not grow up in traditional boxing. Joshua acknowledged that criticism is part of the sport, but respect begins with the willingness to try, and in his view, Jake showed that.
100 miles an hour. There's two things I would have done. Tried to shut Jake down at 100 miles an hour, or I would have gone on the back foot. So Jake decided to move around the ring, and I decided to put the pressure on. What I could have done better is a lot of things. 100%. In the fight game, you've seen the amazing fighters that have graced us over the last 100 years, and the expectations that we put on ourselves are immense, but I tried my best. Jake done well while it lasted, but if you remember what I said in the interview with Cameron is, fighting's not just physical, it's psychological. And when you understand the psychological warfare, I did say to you that, Jake, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna see a time when I'm gonna take your soul and you're either gonna give up or you're gonna get knocked out. And unless you have that instinct, you just will never be a good fighter. So I wish that I could have knocked him out at the start. But as we saw tonight, Jake has spirit.
Eddie Hearn also shared his thoughts after the fight and kept a serious tone. While he stood by his earlier warning that this fight could end badly for Jake Paul, he said the outcome sadly proved that point. Hearn explained that injuries like a broken jaw are not only painful, but also mentally difficult to recover from. Time away from sparring, fear of getting hurt again, and losing rhythm can change a fighter's career path. Although he respected Jake's toughness, Hearn stressed that boxing is unforgiving, and moments like this often force fighters to rethink whether the risk is worth it.
Because when this fight was first announced, you had said something to the effect of this would end Jake Paul's career. After what you saw tonight, do you think that Jake should continue to box, or what do you think the future holds for him?
Yeah, no, I really take my hat off to. I mean, we have to see if it is a broken jaw. Those injuries are very difficult to come back from. But as AJ said, like that last shot would have knocked out a lot of heavyweights. And I know he went down heavy, but you know he was conscious on the floor. And I thought his game plan, although obviously very negative early on, which it had to be, was smart at times. And there were times where he held his feet and let his hands go. You know, it was a very one-sided fight. It was always going to be a one-sided fight. But you can't give him anything but credit and respect. There's a lot of negative people out there. There's a lot of people who want to criticise people. They're not doing what Jake Paul's done. He just went in with Anthony Joshua and gave it his best shot. Took a lot of punishment and ended the fight eventually.
Jake Paul's game plan against Anthony Joshua was built around movement and survival. Before the fight, Jake explained that his goal was to use speed, footwork, and constant motion to avoid Joshua's power. The strategy was to circle the ring, keep distance, and make Joshua chase him while hoping to last all 8 rounds. Jake and his team focused on avoiding one clean shot and relying on cardio and angles rather than trading punches. The plan was simple: keep moving, frustrate Joshua, and make him miss instead of engaging directly with a bigger and more experienced fighter.
The game plan from both guys from round one. Jake was very mobile. He had the happy feet going. He was circling around the outside of the ring. He was not looking to engage in elongated combinations. He was not looking to stand in the center of the ring with AJ, and people are going to say Jake ran from AJ, and you're right. Because guess why? He absolutely had to. Again, we talked about this in the build-up to the fight. He had to be mobile. He had to be on his bike. So yes, you're justified in saying Jake ran from him because he had to. He had to. And anybody that convinced themselves that Jake was going to walk to the center of the ring, stand in the phone booth with AJ, and trade punches until someone laid flat, you were lying to yourself, or you convinced yourself of something you saw in the promo. This was always going to be the way the fight went. I wasn't surprised at all that this is the way that Jake started and pretty much fought the entire time. I was a bit surprised that AJ didn't assert himself earlier. Now, again, it is very hard to hurt someone that doesn't want to engage in a continuous fight. Round one, very much a feeling out process for AJ. Didn't really look like he did much, but Jake didn't either. There was one right hand that AJ landed in the first round that shook Jake up. That's the danger that was coming for Jake the entirety. Second and third rounds were pretty much the same. A bit of a mixed bag in terms of Jake tried to get on his jab more. He did land some jabs that snapped the head back of AJ and landed some right hands, but this was all calculated risk for AJ as well, because he knew as long as he turned that faucet on and let the water run and let it fill up the sink and never turned the faucet off, that eventually he, right? So every round it was pressure, front foot, front foot, front foot, and AJ strategically breaking down Jake's gas tank. I will say I'm pretty let down by the fact that AJ didn't cut the ring. I was shocked that he didn't go to the body more. I was shocked that he didn't set up his punches more, didn't get his head off the center line more. It was not a great performance.
Nikisa Badirian came forward to defend Jake Paul after the loss, saying the result did not erase what happened in the ring. According to Nikisa, Jake followed the game plan exactly as designed and executed what they worked on during training camp. He explained that boxing can change in a second, where one clean punch can end everything. From a tactical point of view, Nikisa said Jake showed discipline, preparation, and growth, even though the final outcome was painful.
Victory because he expected to win. I do think he showed who he is as a fighter. I think he deployed the strategy that he was very clear about going into, that he was going to look to make AJ miss, and AJ missed a number of times. And ultimately, I think the weight of AJ caught up to Jake Paul. If you look at the first 3 rounds, AJ wasn't really able to touch him. But when AJ was in a clinch with him a couple of times, pushed down on the back of his neck, pushed down on the back of his head, got him to the ground. There was a few times where Jake looked like he was going for a takedown. Again, that was Jake trying to engage in the clinch, and AJ smartly moved back. In one instance, I think it was the 5th round, Jake engaged for a clinch, AJ moved back and started punching down on Jake's back. So all of those things kind of deteriorated or emptied Jake's gas tank a lot earlier than I think he expected it to. But overall, I thought he deployed his game plan well for the first 5 rounds and actually had some success. He even moved AJ back a few times, 1 by just jabbing in the air, and 2, when he caught him, he moved AJ back. AJ came right back in and...
Badirian also shared an emotional reaction to the fight, saying he felt heartbroken but proud after Jake Paul's knockout loss to Anthony Joshua. He explained that more people are now starting to respect Jake for his effort and willingness to compete. According to Nikisa, Jake gave his best performance under extreme pressure against one of the most accomplished heavyweights in boxing. His reaction reflected both disappointment and pride, a feeling shared by many fans who were sad about the loss but still recognized Jake's bravery and commitment.
I'm just happy he's safe. I've always been proud of him. I speak constantly from the rooftops to mountaintops, from my car when I'm moving in the street. Respect Jake Paul. That was the #1 trending thing on Twitter about an hour ago. Respect to Jake Paul. So I'm just thrilled.
With how it went tonight, obviously you guys came in here and you actually did, like, deluded or not what people will say, people believed that Jake Paul could do something crazy tonight. Did you truly believe from the beginning that he might pull it off?
So he 100% believed unequivocally that he was going to win. And I talked about that with him, afterwards when he was getting showered up. He knew it was high risk, high reward. He had to land something big, but he felt like he could. My view was it was going to be very hard, but it could happen, right? And there was moments in that fight where I was like, holy shit, this kid's getting him a little bit. So, when I spoke about no matter what happens...
Despite the clear defeat, several respected voices in combat sports chose to focus on Jake Paul's determination. MMA legend Anderson Silva was among those who praised Jake, pointing out the courage it takes to face a former heavyweight champion like Anthony Joshua. Silva said that regardless of the result, Jake showed discipline, growth, and the willingness to face serious challenges. Analysts noted that sticking to a strategy and continuing under pressure shows a fighter's heart, something that cannot be measured by wins alone. Silva emphasized that bravery, resilience, and the desire to improve earn respect in both boxing and MMA, even in defeat.
Joshua put on a show in Miami, taking on Jake Paul in a much-anticipated heavyweight bout, and in the end it was AJ who delivered exactly what we wanted in the end. He stopped Paul in the 6th round to get the victory. I'm just seeing pictures online just now of Jake Paul with a broken jaw. The guy's crazy. He's sticking his tongue out. There's blood everywhere. He's playing up to the cameras. He's quite the showman. Our very own showman with us this morning out there in Miami is TalkSport's Gareth A. Davies. Good morning, Gareth.
Hi, Gareth.
Good morning, Shaban. Good morning, Tony. A very dramatic night here.
Yeah.
Ask away.
Gareth, I've got to ask you because obviously he'll be criticised, I think, for sort of running around the ring in the first few rounds. But boy, I've got to say, this Jake Paul is game as anybody I've seen.
He is very, very bold and very brash and very brave. And he did extraordinarily well to take Anthony Joshua 6 rounds tonight. Yes, he ran around, he was elusive, but then he clinched and I think he landed about 4 or 5 punches. Arguably, he might have won the first round and another round in there. So he did a brilliant job for his own resume, for his own career. And as you say, he's in hospital right now. He's posting the pictures already on Instagram. The scars of battle, the wounds of battle, the broken jaw, his teeth are rearranged a little bit. He gave it his all, but he wasn't good enough. What happened, we knew that was going to happen. The gulf in class and experience was extraordinary. And, I've just been with Anthony Joshua and he said he was actually quite surprised about how elusive Jake was and he just decided